Hi Libra, welcome back. I'm Ryan with Erosoflove. Today we're going to do your July 2021 How They Feel About You Love Tarot reading. We've had a lot happening up in the sky lately. We went through a series of T-squares, which are always tension of some type, could be emotional confrontation, and that has to do with Mars and Venus. That's the divine lovers. Mars is this action-oriented planet. It's the god of war, so sometimes there can be some confrontation, aggression, with Mars. And then Venus is the god of love, harmony, beauty, relationships. And they're both sitting over in Leo right now. And for you, Libra, that is your 11th house. Leo is 11 signs past Libra. The 11th house has to do with financial gains. It has to do with your friends, group associations, global communication, the collective generally, so helping out people less fortunate. It also has to do with hopes, wishes, and dreams. And that's a big one. Those are long-term goals. So it's things that you've been really working on over the course of many years, many months, trying to bring something to fruition. So the lovers are coming together. So this is a really good time for you to get out of your shell. If you're single, if you're partnered up, maybe something finally becomes true for you that you've been really working on. Maybe it's a higher commitment of some type. The 11th house is a very fortunate house overall. And Mars and Venus do pretty well overall in Leo. It's ruled by the sun. It's a very happy, romantic, joyful, leisurely house. And then when it's in your 11th, it's really good. There's some really great things that could come from that. But they were making a series of T-squares, and if that's an opposition and a square, Venus and Mars were making an opposition over to strict discipline, sometimes reality check, Saturn, and that's in that 5th house of yours, in Aquarius. Aquarius is 5 signs past Libra, and the 5th house has to do with karmic rewards, fun, leisure, games, entertainment, romance, and children. So some of you might be trying to get pregnant, trying to expand the family, and sometimes Saturn tests that. It can point to restriction and delay with those themes even. So I'd say if you're trying to get pregnant, definitely consult your doctor right now. If you're not trying to get pregnant, know that too. Sometimes surprises happen. So just know that right now. But the lovers coming together in the 11th can point to something with children as well. Now, Uranus, which is right in between this opposition between Venus and Mars and Saturn, is sitting over in Taurus in your 8th house. And the 8th house is a tricky house. It's a house of karmic debts. So you have a karmic debt house being triggered and a karmic reward house being triggered. And it's a push and pull between the two. Past and present, being disciplined and responsible and wanting to break free with some type of liberation. And you're trying to figure this one out. And the 8th house has to do with intimate matters. Intimacy, so that's sex. It also has to do with taxes, insurance, the death and rebirth process, things unseen, bubbling up from the surface. So that 8th house, especially with Uranus sitting over there, which is unstable energy, can really shake things up for you. It can create a lot of upheaval overall. But with Mars and Venus sitting in the 11th, there's some really good things that can come out of nowhere. If you've been really working on yourself, again, it could be financial gains. It could be, something that you've been working on for the long term. Now, the T-squares between these 4 planets were perfecting over the last week and a half. So this could have pointed to a battle of wills. It could have been some reality checks in love. It could have been some emotional confrontations. You tend to be the negotiator, though. So you tend to navigate this energy pretty well overall, Libra. So you have like the soothing negotiator type attitude when people get kind of out of whack. But overall, the lovers are coming together in a conjunction over July 13th, 12th, 13th, 14th period. So during that time, I would say get near some water. We're in Cancer season right now. That's where the sun is sitting. And Cancer is this very healing energy. It has to do with the home and family. It has to do with nesting, self-protectiveness. So, but it is a water sign. So I say get near water. We're in summer season in the northern hemisphere. So if you can get near the lake, ocean, water, river, whatever, there's some really good things that can come of that. If you're partnered up, even if you're single, get to the beach if you can, because you never know, you might meet someone during that time. Mars and Venus only come together in a conjunction once every 2 years. And in the sign of Leo, that's usually pretty good. It points to fun, romance, kind of a more carefree attitude toward love overall. So that's what's happening in the sky right now. Hope you made it through these T-squares. For me, I'm a Cancer rising, so things were happening in my second house. Leo is 2 signs past Cancer. For me, this is how this manifested this week. I got into a fender bender. So the second house deals with assets, resources, possessions. That's my car. Saturn sitting across from that second house is my 8th house of insurance. So, I might have to potentially file an insurance claim. The damage to the car wasn't actually that bad, just a couple scratches, and the bender, the bumper needs maybe just a little bit of work. But you can see how this plays out differently for everyone. It wasn't in my relationship houses, but we did go through that Mercury retrograde phase, which really screws up travel. And Mercury was just coming out of shadow in Gemini. That particular day was on July 7th. So, and I was distracted because Mercury was making a square over to nebulous, foggy, hazy, confusing Neptune. And I looked down, unfortunately, at my phone while traveling. There was a hard stop in front of me, and boom. So you can see how this plays out for everyone. The planets grab even tarot and astrologers. So, it is what it is, right? But for you, like I said, what's being triggered here is the 11th house of long-term goals, financial gains, friends, 5th house of romance, children, fun and games, and your 8th house of karmic debts. So there could be an unexpected bill of karmic debts coming in for you. So that's what's happening for you, Libra. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to do your how they feel about you love tarot reading. This is for Libra ascendant, sun, Venus, moon. Check out the other signs too. If these messages aren't resonating with you, take the messages that do, leave the rest, right? I'm reading for a lot of you, so so be sure you check out the other signs. If you like these videos and would like to see more of them, please click that like button and subscribe. Helps the channel, and it's very much appreciated for me, and you get to see more of me. For personal reading, my email is in the description box below. Send me an email. We can set up a time to chat. Okay, so this is for Libra. Not a ton happening in your love house except for Saturn sitting in that 5th. And Saturn can point to restriction and delay, having to be an adult, being responsible. And that 5th house is a house of romance. So, and the other thing is that Jupiter, that's a planet of expansion, growth, faith, belief, is going to be retrograding back into that 5th house. So people could come back, exes could come back, people you haven't heard from in a while could come back. It could be a review of love, for some of you at least. Jupiter is going to be there for the rest of the year until it ingresses back into Pisces. So that 5th house is Aquarius for you. So lots happening in that 5th house overall. I'm going to pull 6 cards from the Tarot today, 1 card from the Angels Romance deck for your piece of advice. Leave a comment if this is resonating with you. I'm always interested to hear how this all plays out for people. Okay, this is for Libra. Give the angels a little shuffle here. That's just bad shuffling on my part. Okay, I think we're good. Here we go, Libra. First card out is going to be the general energies of your love interest. Keep in mind, time is fluid, and cross watchers, you could be taking on some of these energies. So just keep that in mind. All right, first card out. The Hermit. This is isolation. This is introspection. Could be dealing with a Virgo. So this is the general energies. Someone's shelled up right now. might not be talking, could, maybe there's no communication happening between you guys right now, but they're definitely doing some introspection, possibly some healing. So we'll pull some more cards. This next card are the general attributes of your love interest. Yeah, their walls are up. 8 of Swords. They're guarded. There's a little bit of stuck energy here, and that goes with the Hermit. The two are kind of hand in hand. The Hermit, the guy in the cave figuring out what the heck does he do next. It's very much a card of confinement and isolation, and this is confinement and thinking. This is just stuck energy. It's people having their walls up. So right now, I think this person is just a little bit confused. You can see the blindfold around the woman's face. Doesn't have all the information right now. We just went through that Mercury retrograde phase. That always screws up communication, thinking, mental tension. So there's a little bit of stuck energy with this card. Next card out are the flaws. Yeah, Temperance. They're trying to do some balancing here. There's some healing that needs to be done, and it could be that they're going around in circles. I'm getting intuitively they're just going around in circles. They're repeating the same cycles over and over again and not healing some of these wounds that are plaguing them, because Temperance is a card of healing, and when it's in the flaw position, it tells me that they're not doing some rebalancing emotionally. And they're kind of repeating some cycles here, and they might need to just get in touch with their spirituality here. They need to do some emotional rebalancing. You can see Raphael here is holding the cups, and he's doing some rebalancing of emotions. That means they're just repeating a cycle over and over again. So that's somewhat concerning, especially if they got their walls up. They might not be listening to people. They might be really stubborn, just kind of going into the cave, so to speak, and not taking advice from anyone. So let's pull a card. This is how they feel about you. This is what's on their mind. Yeah, so 9 of Pentacles. So, with this one, generally this is a card of abundance. They're feeling, they're doing some work. They want to do some work on this, and I think they're trying to figure out how to do this work. But they got to do some balancing first. They got to do some emotional rebalancing. They might need to go to therapy. Some of them might need to go to therapy and get some things off their chest, because they're definitely hiding away and they got their walls up. So what they're thinking about you is, they see you as some potential. This is something they could invest in. This is something they could work on. But it looks like they need to do some things with themselves first in order to come to you with something solid, because there's definitely something here that needs to be worked out. Next card out is the potential for a healthy, happy relationship. 3 of Cups. So this is interesting because 3 of Cups can be a card of celebration. It's a card of coming together. It's one that brings a lot of joy and happiness. On the flip side to this could point to potential third-party issues where they're dealing with other people. Perhaps they're distracted and they're trying to figure out what to do next. So this could go either way, right? I mean, overall, this could be really good. It's not always a third-party situation. Sometimes it is, but to me, it just looks like they're not happy with themselves. They're getting down on themselves, and they need to do some work here. I mean, this is an investment work type card. Are they willing to put in the work and the investment into you, Libra? That's the question. Last card out here is going to be the outcome. Ace of Wands. So it's a new start of some type. If they can figure out what they want here, if there's been a lack of communication, it could be a new start for you. But I think overall, this could actually be someone else coming in that brings a lot of passion and energy and vitality to you. Wands energy is fire energy, so that's Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. It's also a card of passion. So again, the lovers coming together in that 11th house is something perhaps you've been working on, perhaps manifesting. This energy here is a little bit conflicting. It's like they don't know what to do next. On the one side, they're shelled up, they're kind of being introspective, they're being a little bit of a hermit. On the other side, it's like, do they invest? Are you guys on the same page? Do they really bring happiness? I think it's for you. You're going to go and find something that brings you a little bit more vitality and gives you a little bit of spark and passion. You are an air sign, so you tend to gravitate toward fire signs, which is this. And I think that's what you're looking for here. The rest of this it's kind of muddy. It's mucky. Like I'm getting a mucky, stuck in the mud type feel with the rest of this. And so the outcome is there could be someone that really brings a lot of passion into your life. Especially if there was a third party situation happening here. I say, this is kind of not so great. Let's pull a card from the angels for the advice. Trust. Yeah, the situation is calling you to have faith. So you got to have trust in yourself. You got to know what your value is. I think you do a pretty good job overall, Libra, with knowing your value. You're able to see fairness, see other people's side of the situation. But I don't think, the one thing with Libra is you sometimes overly identify with partnership and other people where you kind of lose yourself. So you have to remember to trust your own value, trust your boundaries. Saturn tests boundaries a lot, and know that if something just doesn't feel right intuitively, maybe it's just time to step away from it. If it comes back, fine. But if it doesn't, I think something else is on the way for you, especially with this Ace of Wands. And it could be something that is really fun and energetic. That's that fifth house. It's romance. It's also sexuality and passion. So you got to have a little bit of trust in the universe that it's guiding you in the right direction here. I think something new is trying to come in if you let it. Because whatever this situation is right now, it's very stuck. And it's not, there's a lot of stuck energy and it's not really moving. And I feel like they're just repeating karmic cycles over and over again. And if they're not willing to heal themselves and they're just being a victim, so to speak, this is kind of a victim card when it's in the fall position. I mean, no one wants to deal with a victim. So have faith. I think something new is coming in for you, Libra. Have faith. All right. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Let me know how it goes. Leave a comment if this is resonating with you, and we'll talk to you next time. See ya.